Hey, to all my female baggage droppers out there, I have a question for you. Do you like gold or silver? Well, at Brienne and Company Jewelry Store, you can find anything that you like. That's right. Brienne and Company is a jewelry boutique that has durable minimalist jewelry. She uses genuine pearls, local shells and sea glass, natural gemstones, and of course, precious metals. And these are all quality handcrafted designs by Brienne Light herself. Go and visit her at her website, brienneandco.com, or go to her Instagram that's always popping at Brienne and Company. Thanks, Brienne.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all of my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage podcast, where we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope and show you a technique that can help you cope. I am your host, the self-talk engineer, Charles Woolfork, and if you are on Facebook or YouTube, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you're on a podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback as well. Now, I am here with an OG right here. This guy right here is so inspirational. I can't believe all of the amazing things that he has done with his life that have just inspired me to get off of my butt and to achieve so much more. Right here is David McFadden. Now, David is from Gainesville, Florida, and he got into manufacturing early. However, he read a book that changed his life called How to Get Your Dream Job Out of College. He got into a $1 billion company and started networking, y'all. And then he got into the geospatial department at this company, and he helped the team save millions in operational income. So then they moved him over to engineering operations. And remember, this guy's not an engineer; he doesn't have a degree, but he went ahead and went beast mode in there and saved them millions. Then they moved him to value engineering, and now he's just helping the company save millions of dollars in each and every department. And you know what he loves to do? He loves to encourage people to shift their mindset so they can do what he did, and he believes that you can do all things through Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you David McFadden. What's up, David?
Yo. What's going on, man? It's such an honor to be on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, man. What's up, bro?
Right. For anybody out there that doesn't know about you, like, who are you to the core, and what else are you all about, man?
Yeah, so at the core of me, man, I am a servant of Christ, first and foremost, a father, a husband, and I just want to encourage people to just shift your mindset, man, because it's all about everything with success deals with the mindset. That's where it starts. And if you can shift your mindset, you can make millions, you can impact the world, you can do amazing things, but it all starts with the mindset. And for me, what I've done in the past is, I call myself an ideation specialist. So I help folks generate $1 million ideas that helps increase operational income for their programs, their products, and the life cycle of their total product line. And so I'm all about encouraging people to explore those ideas that you thought were impossible and make them the new standard of possibility. So in everything that I do, I like to, if I see people who are doubting, if I see people who may not necessarily think that they're capable, I say, look, man, I don't have a degree and I get to influence millionaires all the time. I influence 6-figure directors all the time. I help companies save millions. Matter of fact, if I help a company save just $1 million, I'm failing. If it's just $1 million,
wow,
I'm failing. It has to be $4 to $8 million every year. Since 2016, that's exactly what I've done. Without any degree, with the degree that I had was the degree of possibility, and that's all I needed. So,
man, you said earlier on that somebody said that you are a genius, like that you have that within you. Tell us about your early childhood and how it developed over time to you having this bravado, this confidence in yourself and within the creator as well.
Yeah, sure. No doubt. I always say my trauma has caused me to have a seat at the table. My trauma has allowed me to have a seat at the table. Let me talk to you a little bit about my trauma. So I started out, I obviously was born in Gainesville. My mother is from the island of Mauritius. It's a small island off the coast of Africa, super tiny. I think you could probably throw a rock and be on the other side of the ocean. But she migrated over here from Mauritius, met my father in Gainesville, and they didn't really work out. So she split, but then she met my stepfather in Melbourne, Florida. And so we moved here at a young age. Now, my stepfather, I think he tried to be a quote unquote good father, but he was very abusive to my mother. So I grew up in a very violent type of household, to the point where I had to stop my mother from being killed several different times. Like I remember very vividly being, 6 or 7 years old and waking up and seeing my stepfather holding a knife to her throat. I remember seeing him, pick her up and throw her into the wall. And I remember a couple of times where her face was so badly beaten that she couldn't lay down. I mean, it was super swollen, bandaged up, and she had to sit up in order to be able to breathe. And so all of that trauma, and also just holding. I remember holding his legs and telling him to stop, and then telling my mom to just leave. Leave us here. I have two other sisters, and he was at times he would choke them out as well. I would be the one to stop him from doing that. All of that trauma and all that conflict caused me to kind of shy away from confrontation. It caused me to not really put myself out there, and essentially it made me not realize who I was. Like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what family I kind of belonged to, because it was my stepfather, and this is the father figure in my life, right? So I fought so much during my younger years that when it came time to, like, when I was in my teenage years and adult years, I didn't know how to handle conflict, right? I didn't know how to like handle all of those things. So my mindset was, the result of all of that was that I didn't think I was smart enough, right? Because if this man can throw my mother around like that, then subconsciously I thought maybe there was something wrong with me. And then a couple of years later, my mother, she went to prison, right? And I didn't know why. Like, we just woke up one day and my mom was gone. So she was gone for, I think, about a year and a half. But this was a very pivotal point in my development. So, like, in my 11-year-old, 12-year-old, didn't have my mother around, right? And so, again, that just added on to the trauma that is, I don't know if I'm capable, right? So a big part of my story is, like, I didn't go to school. I'm in school now, but I didn't think that it was possible to go to school, because I didn't have I didn't have anybody telling me that was a possibility. But on top of that, I had the trauma of stopping a lot of those conflicts and whatnot. So you take all of that stuff together, and then you kind of build upon it with being promiscuous, just all the different things that happen as an adolescent male that doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where one day, it's funny because I think after I gave my life to Christ, we kind of use it as kind of like cliche, like, you give your life to Christ and everything changes. But mentally, I think there was a shift that happened when I made that choice, when I made that pivot in my mind, right? There, something happened, right? A renewed mind.
Yeah.
But then when I started working in manufacturing, I still thought that I wasn't capable. I didn't think I was, like, smart. I didn't think that I was capable. So I would do things that were advanced in the manufacturing floor, like troubleshooting the machines and understanding the packages of the machines, that I thought it was normal. And people would talk about me. They're like, he's doing all this stuff, and we don't know why he's doing it. Like, I don't understand why he's doing, like, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. It
wasn't that I was dumb. I was 3 or 4 steps ahead of him, and I didn't know it.
Right.
And then somebody told me one day, said, like, man, your mind works great. I said, wait. I said, what? They said, no, man, your mind, it works, like you're brilliant. Bro, that's all they had to do. That one thing.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, wait. Oh, okay, I'm brilliant. And so, that kind of shifted, right? And there's small pivots, right? They're not huge changes. It's like small pivots that add on, like small pivots here, small pivots there. But it's the possibility in those pivots that helps expand your mindset to do great things. So fast forward to working at this $1 billion company.
Yeah.
Right. And still having a little bit of that trauma, that, you know, that baggage, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Working with all engineers, working with all you know, really smart people, college educated people.
Mm-hmm.
They messed up, right? Those people started saying, "Hey, man, you're brilliant." I said, "Well, who's brilliant?" No, hey, we got this position for you. It's called Business Excellence Champion. I said, "Okay, I don't know anything about business, but why don't you give it a try?" All right, cool. All right, my first meeting, and stop me if I'm going on because I can tell this story.
Go.
All right, so check it to your audience. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. My first meeting as the business area excellence champion, I had no idea about business. I didn't know what was going on. I'm in the call, right? There's all kind of levels of executives, you know, presidents in the company. And I thought I was just listening in. I didn't realize I had to like add value right then and there. So I get into the meeting and they said, so what do you got, David? What do you have going on in geospatial? I said, I don't know. I don't know. I got off that phone, right? And the director of this current group, and she's a doctor. She has a doctor in image something. She said, "Hey, you need to get it together because you can't embarrass me in front of my my boss like that. You got to get your stuff together. Now, if you need stuff from me, let me know.
Yeah,
you can't go into these meetings and not know." Again, that pivot, that kick in the butt, caused me to say, "All right, bet. Now that I know that I need to add value to every meeting, I'm going to, whether I'm in charge of it or not, I'm going to always be ready to add value." So that is another part of like shifting my mindset, right? But it only happened if I said yes to the position, which I wasn't necessarily qualified for. But since I read the book gave me the confidence to say, like, okay, bet. I think I can do that. So, yeah, man, it's been such a crazy journey. That's just like in the geospatial. I can talk a little bit more about like going into the next phases, like the different levels.
Yeah, man. Hold on. Okay, so you said so much. So the possibility is in the pivots. I love that. So the pivot was the consciousness that you had, that you like the things that you needed to know in order to be successful.
Yeah, I think it was more so the possibility. Like all it was a opening to be better, to be greater. And for somebody who has never had that opening, that's all I needed was, okay, you give me the possibility and a slight opening from the trauma that I experienced growing up. I didn't even think that I would be here. So guess what? I'm going to blow this thing wide open. Right? And so the great thing about that book, and it's so funny, is because on LinkedIn, the author of the book is now one of my contacts. And I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, man, your book changed my life." His name is Pete Liebman. I don't know if I should be promoting him now, but his name is Pete Liebman. And so one of the things in the book was you have to understand the leverage that you have as an employee, as really anybody, if you do good work, right? If you do good work, you got leverage automatically because people, their jobs are on the line to hire good employees. Now, if you understand that you can bring value,
exactly,
and you have leverage.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
I understand the value that I bring. I didn't fully know it now, but now since they messed around and said, "Boy, you're brilliant."
Yeah.
I said, oh no, I'm valuable now. I'm valuable. So yeah, man, it was a possibility in the pivots. It was the slight opening of the door and just busting it wide open.
Boom, boom! You ran through it like a running back. I love it.
Yeah. I wasn't the Charles Woolfork position player, but you know, I tried to do what I could.
Silly. So like, you believed the people that said you were brilliant. Like, was it because it kind of boosted, like, no offense, that it boosted your ego? Or was it the fact that you had like a chip on your shoulder and that you had to make it?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both, right? I think that, if one person says it, and a shout out to my wife. I have an amazing wife who constantly, prays for me and really encourages me and supports me and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the around that time, like around that first pivot, we moved to Orlando, and in Orlando we were outside of our normal environment, and so part of that whole pivot is just getting outside of your environment, outside of your comfort zone. And when we moved to Orlando, we were around a lot of young entrepreneurs, a lot of young homeowners, like 23, 24, and then again that seed of possibility, like, wait,
right,
you can own a business and be profitable and own a home and all that stuff. And so that planted the seed. And so seeing that and then coming to a workforce where somebody says you're brilliant, I think it helped. Those two circumstances helped me believe, like, wait, I am brilliant. You know what I mean? Like, so the first couple of times they're like, all right, like you probably say that to everybody. But then I started seeing like patterns. I started seeing fruit of different things. Because on the side I do music. I've been doing music for years and years.
Yeah.
And that was my creative outlet. People were calling me like, man, you on another level. I was like, yeah, whatever. But then when I started seeing the patterns in the professional area, I said, no, there's something there. There's something there. And so I started believing it, right? In spite of my upbringing. So I think the upbringing was like, all the trauma and everything. But when people started saying like, nah, bro, you got something.
Yeah.
Then I started realizing that, maybe all of that trauma is kind of the story that kind of helped put me in a position to be grateful enough to operate in that brilliance or whatever. So
100. One of the guys that changed my life, his name is Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher.
E.T. Yeah.
E.T. Yo, like E.T. He straight up talks about like how he lived in abandoned buildings, ate out of garbage cans, was in the cold in Michigan, and how it took him 12 years to get a 4-year degree or something like that. It's like he talks about his struggle and how it's made him stronger and how it's prepared him for the business world, for corporate, for giving his speeches and his presentations to corporate. So like it sounds pretty similar to what you have done. It's like, if I can go through that, then what the hell doesn't prepare me for anything that y'all can throw at me, and especially if I have the possibility.
Yeah. And so, what's funny is that I think the first time I talked to you, I didn't realize that I necessarily had a story. I think the day I talked to you, the first time was I started realizing, just like how, the slow realization that you can do greater. I started realizing like, no, my story is kind of like crazy because even through all the physical abuse, through the trauma of that, and like being home, like, we were kicked out from, my stepfather kicked us out, and we lived in a shelter for a couple of weeks and moved out and different things. I realized like, man, like this is I gotta capitalize off this. Like we gotta turn this around for our good. So shout out to you, man. You I don't know if your audience knows it, but like you really even in our first discussion, man, you really helped me out a lot. So
man, I mean, I'm only a reflection of who you are, dog. And by all means, like I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you actually listening to my words. Like when I heard, like I'm hearing this for the second time, but for the first time I heard, I was just like, my eyes were like huge. My eyes were the size of watermelons because, from you, going through your past, and then, people telling you like, oh, you could only get a job or that you can only get a small job, that you're never going to make it. And then like all these different things that you have gone through to now, being in a $1 billion corporation and doing things that, most people would never have the opportunity, like would never have the consciousness to do. Bruh, man.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy too. So you brought up a point, like so for your audience, I did join the military, and I didn't have a successful military career because of my mindset, right? I was still smoking weed, still trying to do like drugs, still being promiscuous.
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with trauma. I didn't realize that I was trying to find coping mechanisms even in the military. You know what I mean? Like I was still trying to find that peace. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like it was exactly. So I got kicked out. And the crazy thing is, like, I got kicked out of the military, and I left the military because I didn't want to go to captain's mass. It was during the holidays. I wanted to like spend the holidays with my family.
Yeah.
The Christmas holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So I left for like 20 days because if you go over 30 days, I think they call it AWOL, and the punishment is more severe.
Yeah.
So I went 20 days. Then I came back and went to captain's mass, and then when I got back, I thought, all right, they're gonna have me in captain's mass, and then I'm just gonna get kicked out and go home. No, they actually handcuff you and take you to the brig, which is like military federal prison equivalent.
Wow.
And so I had to get strip searched, and all this. I'm not even expecting any of this. So
yeah.
And then I'm thrown into like this Navy type of like brig environment as like federal prison. You know, you got general population. You know what I mean? It was crazy. So after that, I was in there for like 30 days or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like 2 months.
I bet. Jeez.
So when I got out, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have any money. Well, I had $20, right, when I got out. And it was like my lowest. I had $20. I had just turned 21. I used my $20 to buy a 40 ounce, a pack of Newport shorts, and I think I bought like a snack.
You said
this is it was my rock bottom, man. I remember drinking that 40 ounce.
Yeah.
I didn't. So in the military, you gotta have like a belt. You gotta have your hat and everything. You covered because if not, you're gonna be out of line and people can call you out on it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have my belt. I didn't have my hat. So I was drinking a 40 ounce, smoking a Newport short, and not having any money to eat. So in order to eat, I had to wake up, and I didn't have any cell phone or clock or anything. In order to eat, I had to wake up during lunchtime, hopefully wake up during lunchtime, go down and eat at the cafeteria or the galley, but also take some food back with me because I didn't have any money to eat dinner. So I would eat lunch and then stuff peanut butter jelly sandwiches in my pocket for dinner.
Yeah.
And then go back and eat. It was like rock bottom because I had failed. You know, you got your whole family. You know, you join the military, like, oh man, David's doing well.
Yeah.
So I'm over there like rock bottom, bro. Like smoking cigarettes, just like, cigarettes are not good. Like they're not good for you, and they taste horrible. So it's like, you imagine like all of that weighing down on you, just smoking a cigarette, and just like, man, it's horrible. So then I leave there and then get back home and kind of had to rebuild my whole self up, because they said when you get out of Navy, kicked out for popping on a drug test, you can only work at McDonald's.
Right.
Work at a $1 billion company. You can't work. You're only gonna get paid $10, $12 an hour.
Right.
So again, I had to pivot my mindset.
Yeah.
And started working in manufacturing, and then the rest is kind of history.
The damn, bruh. Wow. But what a like, how long did it take before you started working at the $1 billion company?
So when I got out of the military, it was 2003. And I got married in 2005. That's when I started manufacturing. I didn't start working at the $1 billion company until 2016.
So
actually 2012. I'm sorry, it was 2012 where I started.
The reformation of your life, though, throughout that 9 years, that's quite the transformation. Like rock bottom to 2 years later, getting married, working at the manufacturing job, reading this book, and then he started the network. Yeah,
bro. It's like once I saw that there were people who looked like me making 6-7 figures, being able to impact all corners of this company, not only the company but really society as a whole. It kind of, again, the possibility just really just busted wide open for me, because you got to remember, in where I grew up at, we didn't see a lot of like black engineers or black directors or people of color.
No.
So for me, it was just like, wait, you can like you can be like, there's a bunch of engineers who are of color and not even just of color, but just, minorities in general, like,
Yeah.
women engineers and stuff like that. So all of that really, really, really helped me a lot.
The representation is so cool. I mean, yeah, we had like Dr. Huxtable on TV, but like as far as where I grew up, the entrepreneurs were the guy that worked at the barbershop. We had two barbershop owners, Mr. Johnny and Mr. Charlie. And then we had another Mr. Johnny. He owned the cab stand, which is like Uber before Uber. You know what I mean? Like
right.
They called it the bootleg back in the day.
You got to break that down because some people might not know that. Taxi,
exactly.
What is
Yeah, so like you would have to go to a building. It would be a smoky building, like that had like a couch, and in the back they were playing craps. And I'm like, hey, where you want to go? Like, I'm trying to go to Kroger. Like, that $5. You pay right away. They take you to Kroger. They wait for you at Kroger, and then it's another $5 to get home.
Yeah.
Oh man, but as I digress, representation. That was the only entrepreneurs that I saw. From. I didn't see any doctors. I didn't see any engineers. I didn't see any lawyers. Yeah. So like, to be able to envision that within yourself, and also to see that type of possibility is damn near impossible. So for you to get that glimpse, and then for you to hold on, what made you hold on to it so tight, bro?
I think it was a mix of one, just my family, like, having kids of my own and just really wanting to break that cycle. And then two, I don't know if you like read or heard of David Goggins. So he has a thing where he says taking souls. And the premise of that is like, when everybody else is crying about it, you're like the only one like, no, this ain't nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I held on it because I was surprised that, through all my trauma and working in the military, even though I didn't have a great military career, it did teach me like hard work. And we did like really like hard work. And so when I got into manufacturing and when I started doing engineering technician and even value engineering, the work wasn't like hard physical work.
Yeah.
It was more mental, more like, in office environments or doing repetitive things, right?
Yeah.
Placing parts. And so when I got in the environment, a lot of people were like, oh man, this is so hard. This is, or this is that. And so I was like, wait, this ain't hard. No, I've experienced like hard, like 19-hour days, like, working on the aircraft carrier or not being able to sleep because you're worried about if your family is going to be alive when you wake up.
Yeah.
So this stuff wasn't, this is not hard. This is easy. Matter of fact, I'm surprised they're paying me this much because I didn't realize, I didn't think that I would have a job out of the military.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, y'all complaining about, this, it's so crazy. It's like mindset is everything, bro.
Everything.
It's everything.
Right.
When I started manufacturing and I was killing it in my little area at this company, I was making $14.35 an hour. And the floor manager called me into the office, and because I told them I was going to be leaving the company, and I found a job. They said, "Oh, I hear that you're leaving, right? But right now you make the most money on the floor, and so sometimes people want to say that they're going to leave in order to get more money." And I was like, that didn't even cross my mind, and I didn't even know I was making the most money on the floor. So she was almost kind of a tactic, that you're making the most money on the floor. I was like, wow, I make $14 an hour on the floor, like, and shout out to those who make $14 an hour, because depending upon the level, like your environment, that could be a lot. So then when I left that company to work at the billion-dollar company, I got to say that it wasn't even guaranteed. Like, it was only for a year. It's supposed to be a contract,
right,
for 1 year, but they started out at like $18 an hour. So I was like, man, I will do that.
That's a lick.
That's a come up. So the $18 an hour, and just a 1-year contract. But guess what? Once you let me in the door, I gotta network with. I was talking to senior directors. I was talking to the vice president of the company.
Wow.
I was going to events acting like I was like one of the top level engineers. People were talking to me like, "Oh, hey." I was like, I had, I had to pivot quickly in those environments. So, let me drop a little nugget here real quick, if you don't mind.
What up?
So, adaptability is probably, and like I said, my story is I don't have a degree, but if you can work on these 3 superpowers: adaptability, quick learning, and idea synthesis, you can kill the game wherever you're at. Adaptability, quick learning, and idea synthesis. If you can utilize those 3 superpowers, you can kill the game anywhere. And I've used it in several different environments all the time. Adaptability, quick learning, and idea synthesis. So what does that mean? It's like adaptability. You got to be like listening to words that people use and understand the context and quick to use it so that you can talk their language, right? So I went to some of these events or whatever, and like they were all local, like, higher level directors and stuff like that. And they were saying, oh yes, our revenue and our operational income is not where we want it to be. So we want to try to increase that by, 3%. And we're going to use continuous improvement things to do that. I had no idea what any of that stuff meant. But guess what I did? I took a mental picture. I'm going to Google it. And when I come back again the next meeting, guess what I'm going to use?
Boom.
Operational income.
Revenue.
They say the cost of goods sold. Like, we want to make a continuous improvement plan, a strategic plan based off 3% of cost of goods sold. What is cost of goods sold? Well, I'm going to find out what that is, and then we're going to use that. And over time, you start, not only are you using it, but you understand what it means.
Exactly.
And you can kind of talk that language. So adaptability. And then being a quick learner, like, you don't have everybody else is operating at a certain level. You have to be like Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness. You gotta you gotta figure out how you can adapt or quickly learn something. You may not be able to take a water break. You know what I'm saying? You may have to sit down there while everybody's taking a break. You're gonna use your lunch like that. I'm gonna try it. Like, I see what everybody else is doing. I'm gonna be the quickest learner in this place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then finally, idea synthesis. So this is so important, and I'm like, this is like one of the greatest hacks, is that whatever happened in your past can help you in your happenings now. So idea synthesis means that you're bringing like a cross-functional past. Like, so I experienced trauma. I experienced a lot of domestic abuse, and now I work in value engineering, where I have to facilitate diverse groups, like engineers with egos, people with supply chain, people from program management. And since I understand what conflict is, I know and can detect when conflict is arising in these meetings of minds, right? The meeting. And so what I can do is I can take the issues from my past, and I can use that for what I'm going through in my environment. So just like you with football, like, and you said you play football, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, I'm pretty sure that you've been in environments where, like, it could be something totally different for football, but you're able to utilize something from that, like maybe the snap count or like the routines of practice. You're able to utilize that as a superpower, and like people are like, man, how you do that? How you do that? You know what I mean? Like, you uniquely equipped to handle certain things. And so I always say those 3 things, man, have really helped me set myself apart. Even in the midst of, like, here's the thing, Charles, this is crazy.
What up?
There's people who have degrees, like, who are super duper smart, who don't understand that concept. They don't they're brilliant. They make tons of money, but don't understand the importance of these unrelated things.
That's what it is. It's the importance of it. And also, like, when you have a certain, when you have to survive as a kid, When you have to survive, your mind kicks into gear on what you have to do to survive.
Right.
So you have to do what you have to do, meaning like if you have to gain rapport with somebody, you'll gain rapport with that person. If you have to like dig things up from your past, you'll have to do that. Some people that have not been on that path to where they have experienced certain things or have those type of street smarts, they don't know how to apply it. The tool is always there within us, but the application of the tool is always what makes the biggest difference within everybody's success.
That's it, man. That's it.
Right. Because I got a friend who, so he made his mistakes in his past and he sold drugs and now he's getting on the right path. And I'm like, bruh, like, you know, I've shifted from an entrepreneur, from an educator to entrepreneur. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, bro, you have all the skills that you need in order to be super successful. He's got the gift of gab. He can gain rapport with anybody. He's an amazing storyteller. And when he believes in something, man, he gives all the right things to like have somebody act on impulse to buy something. But he just is, there's something within him that is afraid to apply what he had did so well with weed to another product. So he chooses to work, you know what I mean, his butt off instead. And I'm just really trying to, but it's that consciousness. It's the consciousness, man. Yeah. Like, dude, if you have this, he has all the tools, but it's about applying it to something that's out of his comfort zone as well.
Yeah. Execution is key, man. Cause I guarantee you, like, you know, I have a couple of friends like that too, who are brilliant, you know what I mean? Like are super intelligent, have great street smarts, but won't execute on the things that'll take them to the next level, right? And again, it's a consciousness mindset, man, that prevents a lot of folks from doing that.
You keep saying it, man. Mindset is everything.
Look, mindset man, I got my mindset. Your mindset matters, sir, man.
100%. And also, bro, Charles Darwin said, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that most adapts, that is most adaptable to change."
Oh man, let me write that down.
It is not this.
You know what's crazy is like Charles Darwin is like the evolution guy, right? Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't think that a quote from him would be applicable, you know, because you know a lot of creationists think differently. But man, you can find value anyway. Like the Bible says, like keep the good, discard the rest. You know what I mean? Like, so Charles Darwin says,
it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. Incredible.
Nice.
Yes, very. I was mind blown because you always say, "Oh, the survival of the fittest." Well, it's not the physically fit, it's who's fit the most up here. And obviously, bro, you're a personification of all of that, bro. For real.
God, man. It's crazy, bro. It's like before this meeting, I was just on the call with like the VP of engineering at our company and like all like the high level engineering leaders. And I just had to take a moment like, wait, how? And it's so crazy that like I can't share it with people. You know what I mean? It's like you can't tell people. I can't share with. I can only tell it with like my immediate family because nobody else will understand. It doesn't make any sense the rooms that you're able to get into. But I understand that I'm not going to be intimidated because my trauma has allowed me a seat at the table. Mm-hmm. I may not have the education on paper, but man, the trauma has allowed me to scoot up there and feel somewhat confident about being in that room.
So yeah, for all the audience out there, make sure you pay attention to that. That's huge. Whatever you're going through, it's only preparing you for what you were where you were destined to do in the long run. What the Creator has like for you in the long run. So whatever you're going through, keep going. Just keep going. Like, don't stop. Don't quit. Like that's the only time you'll fail. There is no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. And the only way that you fail is if you quit. So, man, just keep going, because your trauma is preparing you for something so much greater. It's a life of abundance, a life of abundance. Bruh, just I can't thank you enough for your time, bruh. I really, truly appreciate it. I can't wait to be a blessing. So here on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, we talk to people that are dope, that can give you hope. And we also show you a technique that can help you cope. And that technique is called the mental and emotional release process. It's a neuro linguistic programming technique. Now, I'm going to let you know, the disclaimer, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a social worker. I'm none of those things. I'm just an alternate to help everyone with their mindset. And anyone out there, talk to the audience real quick, anyone out there who would like to go through the mental and emotional release process, please hit me up at charleswoolfork.com. There's a actual forum on there where you can set a time you and I can speak together. Now, today, we're going to be talking about the fear of rejection, but I think the fear of rejection is off a little bit. And we'll go into it. So I had a fear of rejection because I always felt like I was rejected by my father. And I always talk about my dad, but that's where a lot of my trauma came from. I never met my father before. So the first time I really truly felt rejected is when I remember I was we were decorating Father's Day cards, and I didn't have a dad. I was like, do I write it for my nana, my grandmother, or do I write it for my mother? I was like, I guess I'll just start writing Father's Day cards for my mom. And I've continually either called my mom or sent my mom a card for Father's Day, because she played both roles as a single mother. But that's when I felt like, man, where is he? How come he hasn't sent me a birthday card or a gift? Where is he on Christmases? Where is he? And I felt rejected. And that has continued to where I was a people pleaser, and I would continually get rejected throughout my life, whether it be through people the wrong crowd that I was trying to hang out with, or women that I was trying to, be with, or, just if I ever felt a situation where somebody didn't, quote unquote, like me, I felt rejected, and I just get down on myself and have all types of negative self-talk. So that's where I personally know how that fear of rejection feels. You know what I mean? So what is it with you that you have this fear of rejection?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing. Because of my lack of education, because of how I grew up, I fear that people won't accept me,
mm-hmm.
or I'm disappointing them because of of who I am. You know
mm-hmm.
what I mean? Because I don't have all of the accolades, and because I don't have the pedigree, that they won't allow me into the circle, or they just or I will somehow lower their expectation of who they thought I was going to be.
Yeah. However, we talk about the fear of rejection, but also, how do you feel about the phrase that I'm not good enough?
I think that's probably more on point.
That's the one, bruh.
Yeah.
I struggled with that for years. And a lot of people that come onto the podcast, they some of the most successful folks I've ever met in my life, like yourself. We all have this thing in the back of our mind that also drives us. It gives us a chip on our shoulder, but also it's that thing that kind of makes us hesitate just a little bit,
Yo, that's crazy. I think that is it. Now I'm thinking about it. I think it, when I look back, it's even my identity, you know what I mean? Not thinking I have to attach something to my identity to be enough.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, the blessing. I mean, you've been blessed upon blessed upon blessed. And then it's so funny because when as people tell you that you're good enough, you finally latched onto it. You're brilliant. You're good enough. You're brilliant. Yeah. You're yeah, I think I am. You know what I mean? Yeah. You latched onto it. So once we get rid, your swagger is already there. Once we get rid of that limiting belief that I'm not good enough, and you just keep instilling that I'm brilliant and all these different things that you have, your swagger is going to go to the moon, dog, and beyond. It's going to be crazy. Now, it's how does it feel in your body when you think of situations like maybe those early situations when you were within your company or other situations where you felt like I'm not good enough? Where do you feel it in your body physically?
Physically, like I think I feel it. I think I feel it like right here, my chest. Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how heavy is it?
Probably a 8, 7 or 8.
8. 8. Anywhere else in your body?
I'm trying to think, because when you said that, it's like I remember two examples. Like when I was working on a product, and then they came in and they were asking like, okay, can this we need this to be done, and then they pointed like, oh, let David do it, and then they said, oh, he can't do it, he's just a blank, or he's just a this.
Yeah.
And then I felt disappointed, and I felt it like in my chest, and I guess like my posture kind of like went down, but I don't know if I felt it anywhere else though.
Okay. Just making sure. Some people feel it in multiple places, but hey, as long as you are connected with, like, there's a mental, emotional, spiritual connection. So as long as we got the mental and physical connected, we know that we're going to get some good results. All right. So there's only 4 things that you need to do in order for you to have a profound effect in this whole process, to have profound results. Number 1, you got to use your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, you got to follow directions just like you follow a recipe or Google Maps.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, you got to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide. I'm going to be leading you through this easily and effortlessly, and I come from a place of love and high vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4 is you have to see from other people's perspective in each event. We're going to be reviewing some events and observing some events, and your perspective is very important. However, having compassion and empathy for others is the best thing that you can do in order to have forgiveness and acceptance, which will help you heal internally in the long run. All right. Mm-hmm. Cool. We're going to create an imaginary timeline. With your timeline, your past can be to your left, to your right, or behind you. So if you were to know, where's your past?
Left.
Where's your future?
Right.
Just like mine. Perfect. All right, man, let's get it. Is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this limiting belief that I'm not good enough today, and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Sure.
Awesome. What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected, that will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you felt like I'm not good enough between the ages of birth and 7? How old were you?
5.
Do you have a specific event in mind?
Visiting my biological father.
Got you. All right. So that's the one right there. You can go ahead and close your eyes and relax and let me know when you're ready for the process to drop your baggage.
Yep.
Ready? Awesome. Now, this is a guided meditation, so keep your eyes closed and I'll guide you through this easily and effortlessly. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float to your left. So you're floating deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above that first event in which you felt like I'm not good enough. When you were about 5, 6 years old, you were with your biological father. Let me know when you're there.
Yep.
All right. Now see that event from a third person point of view, like a fly on the wall. And as you're there, just stay right there. Don't move. Now, just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event. The learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings.
Yep.
Awesome. Now, with your eyes closed and you observing the event, tell me, what did you learn from the event?
That I'm proud of I'm proud of that little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And my father is proud of me.
Mm-hmm. What did you have to tell your father?
That I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is something that you can take with you into the future that can make you a better person? Take your time. What is a learning that you can take with you into the future to make you a better person that you learned from that event?
Everyone in my lineage is proud of me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All of them.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float to the left and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above the dinosaurs during the prehistoric age. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs.
Yep.
Awesome. And as you're above the dinosaurs, just imagine floating deeper and deeper and deeper into space, to where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
Yep.
Okay. Now listen closely. Float very, very high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you felt as though I'm not good enough. From birth until now in chronological order, don't skip one event that has a charge on it. Preserve the learnings and let go of that limiting belief that I'm not good enough, all the way back to now. Go. All gone?
Yep.
Awesome. Float down into your body and open your eyes when you're ready.
Whew.
Oof.
Wow.
That was a big one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I feel good. It's crazy. It was those people weren't trying to hurt me. Maybe this is post, but they weren't trying to hurt me. They were only directing me. Yeah, they weren't trying to hurt me. They were inadvertently directing me. You know, and even some of the things that happened like recently, it was like they weren't necessarily trying to say that I wasn't worth it. They were like pushing me into more of the purpose. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, real talk.
Man.
I'm giving you a second. To land. God is good.
Yeah. Whew, man.
Yeah. Praise the creator, yo. Praise the creator.
Yeah.
Good night. You're good. Okay.
Yeah.
I went to let you sit with that for a second. All right. So we gotta test it out. Make sure it's all gone, my man. So can you smell bacon?
Yes.
You can?
Well, I mean, if I had bacon in front of me, I could.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Do you smell bacon? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. All right. I asked that question to get your mind off of it. I asked can instead of do. You're right. You're smart. You are brilliant. He's like, of course I can. Can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and see if you can find that old emotion. Or you may find that you cannot.
I mean, I can remember the time, but it doesn't have the attachment, the emotional attachment.
Yeah. How's that feeling in your chest?
It's different. It's
So,
not the feeling. It's not the feeling of it's not a negative emotion. It's like a empathy. Like
mhm.
um, it's more like emotional.
Mm.
Not a negative emotion, but like emotion of knowing that my lineage was with me. You
Mm.
know, like through all of that, all of those times where I thought I wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Oof. That's deep. It's like
Yeah.
love and pride and,
Yeah.
gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof. That's deep.
Mm.
Um, I want you to imagine going out into the future to an unspecified time in the future, in which if the same thing would have happened in the past, you would have felt like I'm not good enough. But it's the future now. So see if you can find that old emotion, or you may find that you cannot. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So when you think of that time, can you still find that old emotion?
Not really.
How do you feel instead?
Uh, I really don't feel. Uh, I don't feel anything.
It's good. It's really good. Congratulations. You just released a limiting belief.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I really don't feel like I'm not supposed to feel indifferent, right? I just don't even feel like it didn't. It was almost like it's a picture now
Yeah.
versus an emotional attachment to it.
Mm-hmm. So I always so there's it's like when it's like a stick of dynamite. So let's act as though the memory is the dynamite and the wick is the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So what this process does is it takes the wick out of the dynamite. It takes the emotion out of the memory. So all you have is the dynamite, but without the wick, it's ineffective. It doesn't explode anymore. There's not that trigger. You see, without the memory, but without the energy or the emotion in that memory, you don't have the trigger anymore. That trigger, that physical trigger, that emotional trigger anymore. It's all gone. So now all you have is the memory, and now you can attach. Which you've attached what you wanted to attach to it. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've attached a learning to it. So now, which is the best part about it, this right here is funny because now you have wisdom on demand because experience, right? Experience plus that knowledge of it, right? The value that you get from it is wisdom. So it's like wisdom on demand.
Nice.
So,
Wow. Huh.
there's so much treasure that you have in your trauma, especially with a process like this. You go back and you see like what was all that for? How has that built me into the abundance and the prosperity that I have now? You flip it on its head.
Mm. That's good. Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people that are listening right now, they have never been through this process. So please describe how you feeling, describe what it was like talk us through it, man.
Yeah. So I admit I came into it kind of skeptical. Just because I just never, you don't know sometimes
Yeah.
with folks, but um, I saw a clear kind of like picture of my the linear timeline
Mm-hmm.
of my past and my future, and it was almost like the when I went back to like my 5-year-old self and I was with like my biological dad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was like I remember like being in the car. It must have been like a summer day or something,
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't anything that he was saying. It was more so like me not thinking that, like, because since I had to go visit different people, I didn't know who my family was. You know what I mean? So it's like um, not not feeling like, not subconsciously not good, like not good enough. Even though I was young, I was just subconsciously didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And but from his perspective, now that I think about, like, him picking me up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, him trying his best, and
Mm-hmm.
like him like looking at me from then and saying he's proud of me, and then me looking at myself saying, I'm proud of you,
Mm.
was like, it's almost like the generations at that moment were like, we're all rooting for you. You know what I mean? Like we're all rooting for you. And that was kind of crazy because it was like my son. I started thinking about my son, you know, and just like, oh man, like how they're all rooting. All the McFadden men are rooting for each other. Like we're rooting for each other, and that was just so powerful because it wasn't just my father. It's like his father, his father, and his father, generations. And then when we go back, we go up to space. It's like I don't even like the baggage is incremental to the amount of like pride that my lineage has for me.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they not even like proud of me because of my accomplishments, but proud of me because of like who I am.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like all that. So all of that was like happening, like when yeah. So that was crazy. And then I started seeing like all the circumstances that people have made me felt like I wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't them trying to. They may. I mean, then they may have been trying to hurt me, whatever. But now it's like it's almost like they were directing me to my my future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though it was like, oh man, you just for this, or you just for that, or you just
Mm-hmm.
this, that. It's almost like I seem like holding up shields, kind of like directing me into where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Even if it meant like they were trying to like block me, it wasn't like it was a block. Like if it was a malicious block, it was
Mm-hmm.
like I could still get through if I wanted to, but it was like it wasn't like a now I just see it like, okay, bet it was like you were really there trying to like direct me, push me into my purpose. So
Wow.
it's like yeah, it was that was a lot. That was a lot. The lineage part that really got me because a lot of the trauma, a lot of the baggage is a
Mm-hmm.
result of the relationship with my father, or
Mm-hmm.
or lack of,
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't just like it wasn't just like my biological father. It was just like my stepfather too.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he did like a lot of wrong things, I learned a lot from him, and it's almost like all of us like kind of hugging. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole lineage. You know what I mean? Like so. And then last thing is that like we were like all not all one, but
Mm-hmm.
like on the grand scheme of things, it's just like all one. Like we're not like we're one like the same people, but like one as far as like bloodline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like all of that was just like, no, we're proud of you. Like all of all of them. They're all
Man,
proud. They're all proud. So that's crazy.
that's deep.
Yeah.
You didn't expect
So,
that.
yeah, no, it's like so. I don't really need to like that limiting belief is that ain't even like that's not even in my mind
Nah.
because you know I if all of them told me I'm good enough, You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, it's not like they're talking like saying, "Oh, we believe you're good." You know what I mean? It's like I know that they're proud of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know they're proud of me. So that's that's good. And like you said, it's like now I got wisdom on tap. You know what I mean? Like with those different scenarios, every one of those scenarios, like it's just like wisdom. You know, like yeah, it's crazy. So
Good job, bro.
yeah. Oh, man, I wasn't expecting that. That's good, man. It's good.
I got you, man. I mean, you manifested this right here, though. You manifested this. Like you're growing, and like you're holding, you know, conferences, and you know, you really started to tell your story. I think the creator was just wanting to get you into a situation where you just have some easier sailing.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is that like I'm gonna be meditating on that like for a couple of days, thinking about, you know, yeah, just thinking about it. You know?
Yeah. So. I got you, man. Yeah, man. It's a mind blower. It's like we do the work, you know, we do the personal development and reading the books and the conferences and, you know, sometimes the therapy and the counseling, you know, especially I did a lot of it. And like nothing taps into it like that and helps you shift your perspective, helps you reframe those things in your mind like so effectively, you know?
Yeah. Man, I need it, man. I'm gonna do this for like a couple of my friends. Like for real.
I'm always here to be a blessing. Let's talk about that. I got you.
Yeah. I got like 3 people or 2 people that could definitely use it.
Man, honestly, I'm doing this podcast because I think we all can let go of some baggage.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you so much for being on the podcast, bro.
Yeah, man, my pleasure, bro. My pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to tell my story, and thank you for facilitating that whole effort, man. Just totally was unexpected, but thank you for helping me drop that baggage.
I've got you, bro. On the Drop Your Baggage podcast. Can we get one more word of wisdom? I mean, you've added so many golden nuggets. Let's get one more from you. Let's squeeze one more from you, please.
Man, it's so possible. Whatever it is, it's so possible. And all you need is one word. It will change your life. So get yourself in position, get in those rooms, listen to some podcasts, listen to Drop Your Baggage, listen to past things. All you need is one word to help you pivot. And once you pivot, possibilities are endless.
That's the next book right there. Pivot to Possibilities.
That's it, man. That's it.
Oh man, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you all so much for listening, and thank you for your attention. You know, from the bottom of my heart, I love every single one of you guys that listen to the podcast. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you're on the podcast platform, give a brother 5 stars and some feedback as well. I am Charles, your host, the self-talk engineer. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself and take care of one another. Peace.